Okay guys, from the picture you can see I'm currently getting 9.1 miles to the gallon, so I'll show you where the EGR valve is, how to remove it and increase your fuel consumption. So over to your right, as you can see, there's a silver pipe which is held by 4 screws there, 4 nuts. You just need to undo them, and at the bottom of the pipe there's 2 there as well. So what you need to do is unscrew them, but be careful, there is a gasket underneath it and they are not easy to get a hold of, and they're always on back order, so make sure you don't damage the actual gasket when you're removing it. The cushion bit, as you can see on the left there, it can be loosened, but I wouldn't advise you to remove it. You do need to remove a battery unless you have flexible tools where you can actually reach to the bottom of the pipe. Once that's been done, so make sure gently and carefully you need to lift that pipe up. Once that's up, and you can see the carbon built up on it, I'll just show you in a second. There we go. So you can see a lot of carbon built up and it restricts the airflow. So obviously we're going to clean that up. For now we're going to put this aside and we'll move over to the actual EGR valve. Now once you remove this gasket, make sure don't break this gasket. Whatever you do, once it's damaged you need to replace it with a new one. So you need to lift the actual EGR valve gently, otherwise you will not be able to get it out. So once it's out, as you can see in the picture there, it's all full of carbon built up all around it, restricting the airflow. So we're going to clean all that up and we show you how it's done. What you do is just get a normal screwdriver, scrape off all the carbon from it. Make sure you don't damage the inside bit. To replace the actual part itself, you are looking at about £300–350, including VAT. So be careful. Loads and loads of carbon's going to come off it, as you can see from the picture there. Once we've removed all of that manually or scraped it off, we will then use carburetor cleaner and spray all the carbon out. I personally wouldn't advise you to spray over it because it's just going to stick to the actual metal part and it's even harder to remove the actual carbon. And once I've finished removing it with a screwdriver, I'll show you how it's done on the actual spray. So all you do is make sure it's got 2 sides to it and they are not connected to each other, so make sure you clean both front and back, or top and bottom, and you thoroughly clean it. Make sure you don't leave anything. If you see any black marks inside it, get rid of it. Simple as that. People use toothbrushes, all sorts of cleaner, but I find if you scrape it first and then use the actual spray, it works perfectly. Once we've done that, we're going to go over to our car now, and up there you can actually see the manifold with restricted flow of obviously the built up carbon around it. It's just too much for the air to flow properly. It's a common fault with these 2.2 diesel turbo Lexuses and 2006 onwards. So once you've removed all that, unfortunately you're not going to be able to clean the inside bit unless you replace the whole manifold, which I personally wouldn't advise you to. It becomes more and more professional job. So scrape off as much carbon as you can, and once it's all been scraped off, I wouldn't use too much spray on it, just in case if it clogs up inside. And once it's done, I'll use the spray. As you can see, it's all looking clean and you can actually see the metal in there. And all we need to do is just reverse of whatever I've just done, basically put back everything together and make sure underneath the gasket of the actual manifold there's no carbon built up. And guys, as you can see, this is